Mesdames et messieurs, bonsoir ou bien bonjour, ça dépend qui côté ou pas le côté vidéo. Nous commençons vidéo avec créole là pour comprendre et surtout dans la communauté haïtienne là. Depuis quelques mois, nous pensons ancien président élu, M. Trump, et côté, il était toujours à parler de bagaille immigration. Nous connaissons là le fait campagne. Côté, il était toujours à parler du fait qu'on est. A fait programme, surtout programme humanitaire, programme président Biden, non, qui a fait là, il était fâché contre lui en pile. Jamais nous avons entré dans le bord de mystique là. Nous cansé. Et le président américain était dans le premier jour, il peut le faire au pouvoir, il peut le faire un bagage qui vraiment, et ça a les masses de protection, on parle de ça en pile. Et nous avons fait précision tout avec tout le monde qui t'a écouté, qui est toujours abonné avec Chanel, nous, qui toujours a supporté Chanel, qui fait, nous te parler de ça, nous te dit que, et quand les states, et nous connaissons, et peut-être dans 50 États, nous sommes capables de 25 démocrates, 25 républicains. Mais nous avons toujours dit que est-ce que les 25 États démocratiques sont d'accord avec le domaine de protection? Est-ce que ça le Parlement ou bien l'Assemblée nationale américaine pour être d'accord pour y déporter les gens? Mais il a toujours précisé tout. Et le président Trump il parlait de ça, les illégaux immigrants, il parlait des criminels, des gens qui font de faire dans le pays, les gens c'est premier monde qui vient pour attaquer dans le pays aux États-Unis. Mais nous pensons et gouverneur Florida, nous connaissons Florida, il y a pile monde dans Florida qui c'est monde qui pas de papier dans main. Yo parle très bien, yo dit monde qui pas de papier dans main. D'accord? Damien son monde qu'on a papier dans main ou kembe wala ou pas besoin de tout problème pour ça, mais c'est monde qui pas de papier. Et ça fait tout important, il parle tout que si vous n'avez pas de papier, vous pouvez quitter la caillou, dans le matin, pour le travail, ou pour l'église, toujours make sure ou marcher avec papier dans la main, même si vous avez papier légal dans le monde, si vous n'avez pas de papier, vous êtes capable ou capable d'aller dans la détention quand même, ou bien capable de voyer dans la détention après, même les gens capable de porter papier pour vous, vous êtes capable de rentrer la caillou, c'est très important. Nous connaissons peut-être si on dans ce citoyen américain lié, il est capable de marcher avec 4 votes dans mail ou bien capable de marcher avec driver license dans mail, il va besoin de porter un passeport, il va besoin de porter un bagage comme ça normalement avec driver license qui dans mail là ou bien passeport qui dans mail là, monde ça depuis Kembe, il y a pas son citoyen américain qui est lié. Sous dans pays ou pas de papier dans monde ou son monde qui est légal dans le pays et li mandé faut ti prudent, faites attention dans la rue et même moun ou gen machine nan moun ou conduit machine, faut qu'on très prudent. Nous connaît grand plus monde qui entre dans le pays aux États-Unis. Surtout moun gen moun qui a pas fait faux document pour n'a marcher avec, sous fait faux document ou a marcher avec faux document yo kembo, yo plus près yo capable déporter ou parce que yo capable traiter comme un criminel parce qu'il a fait des faux documents pour fonctionner dans le pays. Moi, il faut attendre le gouverneur Florida, qui nous connaît, c'est un qui parle en jouette, et le gouverneur Florida parle en jouette avec nous, et c'est un homme du premier tour, et le 27 janvier, le président précisément le 20 janvier, 7 jours après, il dit qu'il pourra demander pour le Parlement, l'argent, pour le capable de faire les locaux, enforcement, police, haïtiens, pour capable au corps pour capable faire travail pour capable déporter monde qui pas de papier monde qui illégal dans pays en Floride ou bien aux États-Unis. Dans Florida, gouverneur a dit ça lui-même et il d'accord avec le président et président Trump, il d'accord avec elle et comme partenaire, il prêt pour exécuter dossier ça pour monde qui illégal dans le pays. Nous parlons de côté une dame qui sont monde qui illégal et sont gibel par haïtienne, sont l'autre nation, capable vénézuélien, capable canadien, capable l'autre nation et pas ici c'est pas Haïti simplement dire monde qui illégal aux États-Unis puis il y a chaque monde qui illégal et au grand plus haïtien qui illégal dans le pays que l'autre nation qui vient dans le pays aux États-Unis. Nous t'ai dit ça déjà en Floride, sous dans Floride là ou pas gain un document légal dans monde, là nous pas de document légal depuis où c'est dans monde côté immigration, li autorisé ou bien l'État autorise le bon droit avec licence ou ka travail dans pays ya, immigration, bon ka travail ou son monde qui légal dans pays ya, pour monde qui pas de document dans monde. Yo parle monde qui pas de document, qui pas gagner dans même do pas gagner dans monde ou son monde qui vivre dans pays ya illégal. Songez bien et sous pas gagner dans monde, li mande faut qu'on prudent, faut qu'on fait attention avec ça. Brothers and sisters, we talking about this a lot past couple months about immigration and President-elect, which is Donald Trump. He say the first day he will do a mass deportation. And then for those who in Florida right now, if you don't have nothing in your hand as a document here in Florida, you need to be careful. Be careful, because the governor of Florida, he say on January 27, he would make sure all the local law enforcement would start check everybody, your document inside the church and a bus station and a job and a laundry and a movie theater. Everywhere you go, you might get stopped by somebody and say, let me see your paper. So therefore, we ask everybody and start the first day of the President Donald Trump, which should be on January 20. He will be installed as the President of the United States. So, guys, it's not a joke. If it is not a joke, if you're here in this country, you don't have no paper, you got to be careful. It will be no joke, and then it will be a start doing a mass deportation. Merci. Thank you so much, everybody. Guys, always remember that. No, always say that. Please share, like. If you're not subscribed to my channel yet, I want you to subscribe to my channel. Guys, dossier immigration en Floride là, il pas gen jouet là-dedans et sous dans pays ya, ou pas gen papier dans mon, ou son monde qui connaît ou peut-être ou t'a fait des bagages qui pas bon dans pays ya. Et faut nous très prudent, gouverneur Florida, il est déclaré, il dit que lui-même à partir du 27 janvier, il pourra commencer make sure pour toute police, tout l'enforcement, monde qui a l'immigration, haïtien, comment relé, tout net, il pourra le mettre en action. Songez bien, on gouverneur dans un state, c'est lui-même qui est président et state là, on gouverneur, donc on ça très bien, mais il dit lui-même a fait pour bagay immigration, président Trump là, lui-même pour lui-même, il prêt pour faire demande là avancer comme ça doit, pas gain jouet là-dedans, commencer gain player et nous connaissons tout, commencer par gain courir. Yo bien dit, sous pas gain papier dans monde qui pas gain papier dans yo, avec des monde qui c'est criminel dans pays ya, monde ça yo soit au Kembe wol yo commence à ranger affaire yo parce que à partir du 27 janvier pour venir Florida pour commencer prend action pour commencer chercher moun sa yo, peut-être yo ka prendre un bus stop, yo ka prendre un travail là, yo ka prendre un laundry, yo ka prendre un movie theater, it depend where you go, guys. So tout le monde fait attention et puis prudent, ce qu'on n'a pas gagné dans monde ou pas besoin la rue ou pas prendre la rue. Vous avez bien sous pas gagné dans monde ou pas besoin la rue ou pas prendre la rue. Ou pas gagner droit avec licence, ou pas gagner papier dans monde, pas gagner dans monde, ou pas cap courir dans la rue à partir du 27 janvier cap venir surtout en Floride. C'était pour la première fois ou monter sur channel là, pas oublier, ben un petit thumbs up, like and share and subscribe. Nous connaissons haïtiens, yo pas tellement et apprécier peut-être le monde apporter des conseils qui est important et pour yo tendel, soit yo te geta connaît, yo te geta comme ça, yo te geta ouais ça, c'est comme ça haïtien fonctionner, continuer fonctionner comme ça. Et domaine immigration nous connaît dans jour pour le venir là yo à partir des présidents et américains pour le prêter serment le 20 janvier situation li pas pour le même genre nous demander tout le monde qui pas gagner dans mon prudent et ou même si gon papier dans mon loi sorti monsieur doit avec licence dans mon monsieur second l'autre document dans mon capable gagner dans mon marcher avec lui parce que Léon police campo li mando bon moi ID c'est ça la mando, les mando bon moi à dire, le garder ou pas gain ID dans mon, ou à conduire ou pas capable conduire, ou pas gon ID ou pas rien dans mon, ça c'est problème lié, li capable arrêter. Est-ce que nous penser la fête nous pas connaître, ce qu'il pas fait nous pas connaître, mais tout fait li dans tout pays aux États-Unis, il va faire que pour il connaît pour l'église. Même les parents rentrent dans l'église à point, ils campé dans l'église là, ils campé, ils checké monde qui pas papier dans mais yo. Mais songez bien, c'est tout un paquet de nations qui dans le pays qui pas gagné dans mais qui pas de document dans mais. So everybody, guys, please, I want you guys to be very careful. So if you don't have any document in your hand as immigration, the governor of Florida said he will enforce. It start January 27. He would have start to make sure all the local law enforcement is start working. It start check out the people undocumented in the United States, or he may be in, let's say Florida. We're in Florida. Let's say Florida. In Florida, the governor said he would start take you and send you back to your country. It's a lot of worry, guy. And let me tell you, in Florida, it's not a joke. When he said, Governor run this country, when he said it, trust me, he mean it. So therefore, guy, I'm going to let you listen to it. Listen to it, what he say. Let's go. Ciao, ciao. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you, guys. Listen to the governor.
President Trump as the Capitol. We've got to make sure that we're there as a willing partner with the Trump administration to be able to accomplish what the voters sent President Trump to accomplish.
And that is President-elect Trump immigration policies.
Our community are tired to hear all this message. The undocumented immigrants is the one who go to clean the nasty, all the dirt and the mess after hurricanes. He know that. He know the undocumented workers are the one who clean the state after the disasters.
Everybody who's in law enforcement, state and local, they need to know you have responsibilities to help facilitate this important interest for our country. We'll provide you funding for it.
The newly elected sheriff in Miami-Dade County released this message Friday before the governor spoke.
As a long-established and standard practice, I will continue to assist all of our local, state, and federal partners when they request our assistance in matters within our jurisdiction. Furthermore, my deputies will arrest anyone who has committed a crime, regardless of their immigration status.
Sarah, are you going to be hiding now?
I cannot live in Hyatt. I have 2 teenagers who need me here. I had to keep going. I had to get up every morning, work.
According to Ron DeSantis, immigration is a priority.
The American people spoke very clearly of all the issues out there, and there were a lot of very important issues. This issue of the border and illegal immigration was one of the top issues in the 2024 election. And
So the governor of Florida is going to be asking for that special legislation on January 27th, when he's actually going to be asking for funds for local and state law enforcement. Sarah tells me she is relying that one of her President-elect Trump immigration policies.
I hear what he's saying. Very disappointed.
This woman, who asked us not to show her face and who we will call Sarah, is reacting to what
with the Trump administration.
Yes, so I want to make sure everybody understand what is going on. So the lady was just spoke before. She's I think she worked with the police or sheriff, whatever is that, and she said it doesn't matter what your status here in the United States. It doesn't matter what your status here in US, in Florida, here in Florida. It doesn't matter what your status. If you commit a crime, if you're doing something wrong in the country, she said she would deport you. And man, back in the day, it's supposed to be only immigration. Now he would enforce it by the law enforcement. So anybody who commit a crime, and he in US, and Florida, I'm not saying Florida, she said you would be deported and send you back anyway, guy. And like I said before, the situation the situation is really it's not a joke. So I think anybody here anybody here, if you're here in US and you don't have a legal document in your hand, you need to be careful And then so what I hear now is something to me like, if you're here in the country and then not even you have a paper, you commit a crime in the country, you will be deported. It doesn't matter what your status. You could be a US citizen. You could be, it doesn't matter what you are. You will be deported. So, mesdames et messieurs, situation li vraiment nan jou pour venir, li ka pas petit gens très compliqué. L'en a regardé dame que tu parlais avant gouverneur qui était en sorti statement, il était dit comme ça. Li pa besoin connaît qui est statut dans pays ya, ou mette US citizen, ou mette fait dans pays ya. Bon, I don't know, c'est ça me donne, il dit m'pa quoi c'est vrai, bon, dans dit, il pas besoin connaît qui est statut. De pour te faire un crime dans pays ya. Ça veut dire crime aux États-Unis. Crime aux États-Unis, il est capable de n'importe qui bagaille. Par exemple, un monde qui fait faux document. Ou fait faux document, ou fait un faux droit de licence, ou fait un faux tag spécial bagage. L'on parle de droit de licence, ou parle de fédéral, l'on parle de tag, ou parle de fédéral. L'on fait bah ça, yo vinn kembe ou capable pour un ticket au kembo, et puis ça dépend genre te kembo là ou te fait là, ou capable déporter. Très important, ou capable de déporter. Songez bien, surtout les ou sorti dans problème avec l'État dans le pays. Ou gen pour aller en côte, par exemple, gen en pile haïtien yo m'konno k'ap di ça, n'a parlé créole, en pile haïtien yo, garçon haïtien yo qui gen chasse support. Yo gen chasse support yo ba d'après aller en côte, yo parle en côte, de vous parler en côte, ça va faire yo cancel licence ou. Même résidence ou pas fonctionner ou pas voyager. Qu'on a automatiquement yo vinn nous, y a déporté parce que yo considéré comme un crime, parce que de pour parler en côte aux États-Unis ou parler en côte, c'est comme si m'ta dou pas respecter institution, pas respecter loi pays moun ou capable déporter, parce que lorsqu'on fait faux c'est fédéral lié, depuis nous ou capable déporter. Ça fait nous demander yon moun qui dans pays ka vinn dans pays a sou pas gen papier dans moun, ou même l'autre gen papier dans moun, qu'on te font crime dans pays a ou qu'on te font pas de fait. Et nous n'a répété ça encore, surtout tout le monde qui est dans le pays, de pouvoir faire faux droit de licence, faux ID, faux social sécurité, pour capable faire taxe, pour capable faire on décide bagarre, tout ça c'est faux. Tout ça faux, lycée fédéral lié, depuis qu'on connaît on, il y a ces choses à nous, il dit il y a déporté quand même, il n'y a pas de problème pour pas déporter. Au songer, président américain, ancien président élu et qui est président Donald Trump, il a fait campagne sous immigration. Masse de déportation dans le premier jour, la fait masse de déportation, c'est ça le dit, mais il vient changer de façon parce que pour faire lui, il faut avoir un pile côté qui t'a supporté pour faire un pile statut supporté. Alors nous demandons si on monde ou dans le pays ou pas de papier dans le monde ou qu'on te font bagay qui pas bon, si pas besoin la rue ou pas prendre la rue, du cas on pas porte caillou, si on pas on parle pas là, on va là, ou pas on parle pas là, mais faut nous très prudent, monde qui penser et surtout dans la communauté pas nous haïtien pense intelligent, yo ka faire faux, yo ka faire des faux, yo capable yo ka vivre dans pays pas fonctionner comme ça. Alors therefore we ask everybody, the immigration law will be start January 20 to January 27 in Florida. There will be a start enforced. It's a serious thing. You see the sheriff department spoke about it, and then I don't see that many people talking about it. So it will be, as per Governor Juan DeSantis, he say he will make sure that happen as a partner of President Donald Trump. Thank you so much, everybody, guys. Once again, guys, we understand that. Please don't forget to share, subscribe, like. If you're the first time you discover my channel, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Please, guys, everybody. It's not a joke. January 20 will be change the face of United States. Let's listen to the former President-elect Donald Trump.
Hey, that in Virginia they have drugs all over the place. Nobody's reporting it. I don't know why they're not. Do you want to say something about it?
Just one quick comment, which is we are home to the largest naval base in the world at Quantico, and we house a lot of the SEAL teams and have a huge national security infrastructure. And now for 2 years running, we have had drone incursion over secure airspace, and we still don't know why. And I think that's absolutely unacceptable. And I think President Trump and the new leadership coming in, I think will work diligently to understand who's behind this and what we do in order to stop the digital surveillance of all of our secure infrastructure.
Is it dangerous?
Well, I can tell you this. While we've been dealing with a terrorist attack in New Orleans, we had drones being flown over our nuclear reactors in Louisiana. And we brought that attention to the FAA. We've been asking the FAA to give these states the ability to mitigate these drones. And it's sitting on some bureaucrat's desk. And that's real.
And nobody knows, they don't want to talk about it. Go ahead.
What do you mean?
I was just going to say, we had drones in Wyoming flying over our infrastructure as well. And it's incredibly frustrating that we not only have no way of knowing what it is, but nobody knows how to deal with it.
They don't want to talk about it, and nobody knows why. They don't want to talk about it. That could be us sending drones. I hope that's the case. Us doing it and doing research, and maybe they don't want to talk about it from that standpoint. I hope it's not an enemy, but we're going to find out on the 21st, the day after. You have to give me a little time for the inauguration, but shortly thereafter we'll give you a report on it. We'll tell you exactly what it is. They know, and it's very strange that they aren't talking about it.
You see the with former President Barack Obama at Jimmy Carter's state funeral. President-elect Donald Trump has addressed the viral moment, showcasing a seemingly friendly exchange between himself and former President Barack Obama during the state funeral of former President Jimmy Carter. The service took place on Thursday at the Washington National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. Trump, who is set to return to office on January 20th, was seated next to Obama, just a row behind President Joe Biden. The two were seen chatting and smiling before the ceremony, which quickly caught the attention of social media users. "I didn't realize how friendly it looked," Trump remarked to reporters on Friday at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. "Boy, they look like two people that like each other. And we probably do," he added while watching the clip of his interaction with Obama on Fox News. When asked about their conversation, Trump refrained from sharing specifics, but he acknowledged, "We have a little different philosophies, right? I don't know, we just got along. But I got along with everybody there. You know, we met backstage before we went on, and I thought it was a beautiful service, but we all got along very well." The service brought together Trump, Obama, and other living U.S. presidents and vice presidents to honor the legacy of Jimmy Carter. President Biden declared the day a national day of mourning in Carter's memory.
And on Thursday, hundreds
than any eulogy. Barack Obama and Donald Trump seated beside each other. It was a scene few could have imagined, because in the past, Obama was the same man who once branded Trump unfit for office and was now chatting amiably with him. And just like the wildfires, social media erupted. Obama and Trump looked like besties, one user quipped on X, while others speculated about the nature of their camaraderie, with one saying, "Is Obama warming up to Trump's influence?" The irony wasn't lost. Trump, a polarizing figure, now seemed to draw more attention because who doesn't want to be friends with the next president?
Off the top, you mentioned the Carter funeral today. What were you talking to Barack Obama about?
It did look very friendly, I must say. I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it, how friendly it looked. I saw it on your wonderful network just a little while ago before I came in, and I said, boy, they look like two people that like each other. And we probably do. We have little different philosophies, right? But we probably do. I don't know, we just got along. But I got along with just about everybody on that. We met backstage, as you know, before we went on. And I thought it was a beautiful service, but we all got along very well, which is good.
Noticeably irritated and, as the internet claims, jealous with...
So, I just want to say something about this, and I think it's a good example for everybody. Parce que ça m'a dit, il est très important pour n'importe monde dans quel que soit pays où il est. Et nous trouvons ça surtout dans le pays pas nous, en Haïti. en Haïti, des prétendés, n'est là, soit le président, ou bien le non poste, ou bien le sénateur, ou bien le député, et puis peut-être là, avec là, il a fait un débat politique, peut-être les fait discussion entre les deux, il y a des gens, des Haïtiens, ça vient tourner des gens qui est mis, des gens qui parlent en parler. Son monde songé, Valé qui bagaille, et président Elia, Donald Trump, lui parler des Barack Hussein Obama, il n'est pas fait ici, il n'est pas Baptiste ici, il n'est pas président, c'est comme ça tout, président Obama a dit, Trump pas au monde pour monter élire, pour devenir président dans un pays aux États-Unis. On a regardé pour nous pendant la mort et ancien président Jimmy Carter. On a regardé pour nous comment Obama avec président Elia qui est M. Donald Trump. On a regardé comment on met tête ensemble, il y a parlé, qui ça a dit ensemble, nous pas connaît, il y a surtout dans ce que connaît, ça a dit parce que deux mondes ça yo, c'est pas deux mondes qui t'a jamais parlé dans la vie, mais ça qui belle là, c'est parce que yo même il y a fait pays qui fait ouais c'est comme ça, yo fonctionner, nous même haïtiens, les nous comprenons avec monde, nous dit c'est 10 livres pour faire nous parler avec monde ça, nous pas pour nous parler avec elle. Par exemple, un président élu, président en Haïti, il vient pas quitter pouvoir, les quitter pouvoir, s'il quitte ton bagage, nous craser, nous bouler, nous dire que c'est président fait c'est voler lié c'est mafia lié ne pas pas servir avec encore les films n'a plein après 6 mois nous dit président nous mettez nous pas veulent encore faut que l'aller comme nous un pays d'Haïti sont un pays spécial lié nous est capturer monde gang yo capturer monde yo dans la rue yo dans micro téléphone y a parler y a c'est ou même qu'a fait loi dans pays d'Haïti son pays spécial nous dit que et puis les a parlé français il dit je suis fier d'être haïtien je suis fier de mon drapeau blablabla c'est comme ça a fonctionné et dans ces menti à faire malgré yo voyagé dans le monde entier on pays gain 9 présidents qui travaillent dans pays 9 présidents dans un pays pas gain une dans nous qui mettre aucune sécurité dans pays nous mon a pour quitter pays mon nan marron qu'on y a haïtien qui quitter Haïti mais rentre aux États-Unis qu'on y a mais au dos yo pas commencer faut yo tourner la caillou c'est tête chargée, c'est problème qui peut passer haïtien et si bon Dieu va dire au mot pour pays d'Haïti, là pas bon pour peuple haïtien mais mes amis haïtiens pas gain l'amour, nous pas gain fraternité, une pas vers l'autre, l'un déchirer l'autre, gang yo parce que ça haïtien yo faut d'ailleurs compassion pour frère yo, pour sœur yo, y a tout le monde dans pays et puis surtout dans micro qu'a parler qu'a fait la loi dans pays Haïti son pays spécial. Mais nous pensons que bon Dieu pas quitter Haïti péri, Haïti vient pour le changer quand même. Que bon Dieu bénit Haïti, que bon Dieu bénit monde là bouleversé et si n'a pas de passer dans Californie dans moment ça a pile gros a boulé, a pile monde a perdu tout ça a été gagné. Mes amis, bagaille triste et monde qui a prié, continue prier pour bon Dieu capable bénir monde là, même les présidents et qui venir aux États-Unis, même elle t'a voulu venir, t'a dit la fait tout ça la fait, mais nous connaissons bon Dieu là, bon Dieu pas dominer, bon Dieu en contrôle, nous connaissons quand même, bon Dieu dit un mot pour n'importe quel soit pays, pas pour seulement pour n'importe monde qui vit aux États-Unis, c'est d'abord t'a parlé d'aller, ça t'a dit d'aller.
As they say, only if looks could kill. The viral video captured Harris's subtle glances back at the duo, and as she turned, the cold sigh sparked a flood of speculation. Why is Obama talking to Trump and not me? A user claimed, with another pointing out, Kamala is a bit jelly. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. At the funeral, the other who's who also didn't go unnoticed. For example, the outgoing President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden. Seated next to Vice President Harris, the First Lady didn't so much as glance her way. The cold shoulder between the duo was so noticeable that the internet didn't once hold back questioning the political estrangement. When the Bidens were escorted to their seats, Jill Biden looked visibly uncomfortable and leaned to the side of her husband, showing Harris her back, and the outgoing president also preferred to look at the ceiling rather than the person he once hailed. However, the feeling of isolation was not just limited to the vice president. President-elect Trump and wife Melania were also
Yeah,
caught
ça
in
dit
the
que c'est
crossfire.
tout côté, there's
After
everywhere
Trump
is
and his
problem,
former
guys.
Vice President
It's
Mike
politics,
Pence
guys.
warmly
Politics
shook
never
hands.
been dirty. Politics never been nice. Politics always something, always fight, politics. But at the end, everybody should know we have a country to run, we have a country to do.
Your references to Greenland and the Panama Canal, so forth. Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your plan is? Are you going to negotiate a new treaty? Are you going to ask the Canadians to hold a vote? What is the strategy?
Yeah, I can't assure you, you're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this, we need them for economic security. The Panama Canal was built for our military. I'm not going to commit to that now. It might be that you'll have to do something. Look, the Panama Canal is vital to our country. It's being operated by China. China.
5 minutes ago, she'd never...
Panama Canal to Panama, we didn't give it to China. And they've abused it. They've abused that gift. It should have never been made, by the way. Giving the Panama Canal is why Jimmy Carter lost the election, in my opinion, more so maybe than the hostages. The hostages were a big deal. But if you remember, and nobody wants to talk about the Panama Canal now because, it's inappropriate, I guess, but because it's a bad part of the Carter legacy. But he was a good man. Look, he was a good man. I knew him a little bit, and he was a very fine person, but that was a big mistake. Giving the Panama Canal to Panama was a very big mistake. We lost 38,000 people. It cost us the equivalent of $1 trillion, maybe more than that. Probably the most expensive, they say it was the most expensive structure, if we call it a structure, which I guess you can, ever built. And giving that away was a horrible thing. And I believe that's why Jimmy Carter lost the election, even more so than the hostages. Those two things.
Talk on Ukraine and Iran, the two negotiations you'll be heading into. On Ukraine, you said just before it's a lot more complicated now.
Much more complicated.
Do you believe...
Because it would have never started.
Right, but it has started.
Well, not only started, the cities are largely knocked down.
So they're like what you've got. At this point, to hold on to leverage in dealing with President Putin, would you make a commitment to the Ukrainians that you will keep supporting them during the negotiations?
Well, I wouldn't tell you if that were the case.
Would you make a commitment to provide a security guarantee if they do enter into an armistice or a ceasefire along the lines of the French and the Germans?
So, a big part of the problem was Russia for many, many years, long before Putin said you could never have NATO involved with Ukraine. Now, they've said that. That's been written in stone. And somewhere along the line, Biden said, no, they should be able to join NATO. Well, then Russia has somebody right on their doorstep, and I could understand their feeling about that. But there were a lot of mistakes made in that negotiation. And when I heard the way that Biden was negotiating, I said, you're going to end up in a war. And it turned out to be a very bad war. And it could escalate. That war could escalate to be much worse than it is right now.
They can never join NATO.
Well, my view is that it was always understood. In fact, I believe that they had a deal, and then Biden broke it. They had a deal, which would have been a satisfactory deal to Ukraine and everybody else, but that Biden said, no, you have to be able to join NATO. And that's always been, and nobody knows more about NATO than I. Years ago, when I first started this, I didn't know too much about NATO, but I got it right anyway. I said, they're taking advantage. I'm the one that got, and the Secretary General was here, as 2 weeks ago, saying that if it weren't for me, NATO wouldn't even exist right now, because I raised from countries that weren't paying their bills. At that time, 28 countries, 20 of them were not paying their bills, 21 to be exact. They weren't paying, or they were paying a very small portion. And I raised over $680 billion, that was the number he gave, by saying, if you don't pay, we're not going to protect you. And as soon as I said that, the money came pouring in. But Obama could have said it. Other people could have said it. Bush could have said it. Nobody said it but me. I took a lot of heat. They said, oh, that's a threatening statement. Well, they weren't paying their bills. I said, we're not going to protect you if you're not paying the bills. So in a true sense, I saved NATO, but NATO's taken advantage of us. And one of the problems that I have, and I've said it openly, I said it to President Zelensky, Europe is in for a tiny fraction of the money that we're in. Now, whether you like that situation or not, Europe is much more affected than the United States. We have a thing called the ocean in between us, right? Why are we in for billions and billions of dollars more money than Europe? And you know, they're a similar size, a little smaller, but they're a similar size economy as the United States when you add them up. And yet Europe is in for a small fraction of the number the United States is in. Now, Biden could have called them up during the term. That's what I did. I said, you have to pay your bills. And they all, one stood up. I won't say who, you'll probably have it, because the papers, the media hated to report on it. But a prime minister up from a country, you know, our famous meeting of 28 nations with no press, no anybody in the room, he stood up, he says, does that mean if we don't pay our bill, and at that point it was 2%, it should be 5%, it should be 5%, not 2%, but at that point it was 2%, but many people didn't pay. Some people didn't pay anything, but many people were way, including Germany. Germany was at less than 1%. Well, I think NATO should have 5%, yeah. Well, you can't do it at 2%. I mean, at 2%, every country, if you're going to have a country in a regular military, you're at 4%. I think they should be, you know, they're in dangerous territory. I think it should be, they can all afford it, but they should be at 5%, not 2%. I'm the one that got them to pay 2%. But a gentleman stood up, a prime minister stood up, and he said to me, sir, could I ask you a question? You're saying we have to pay our bills. If we don't pay our bills, will the United States protect us from Russia? I said, if you don't pay, you mean you're delinquent? He said, yes. He said, if you're delinquent, we will not protect you. I took a lot of heat. Although it was somewhat closed door, I took a lot of heat from the media. And you know what happened? The money started pouring in. That's why NATO has money. And the Secretary General said it was the most incredible thing he had ever seen in a negotiation. Now, if I would have said, yes, we will, nobody would have paid. If I would have loved to say, yes, we'll protect you even if you don't pay. But that's not the way life works.
Two questions related to each other. First, you said on your first day of office you're going to pardon January 6th defendants. Are you planning to pardon those who were charged with violent offenses?
Well, we're looking at it, and we have other people in there. And as you see, I guess 24 or 28 people came now from the FBI. That came out very quietly. Nobody reported it, but they had people in some form related to the FBI. They had 4 or 5 people that were strongly related to the FBI. We have to find out about that. We have to find out about Hezbollah. We have to find out about who exactly was in that whole thing, because people that did some bad things were not prosecuted. You know, I see it all the time, and you see it too. People that were doing some bad things weren't prosecuted, and people that didn't even walk into the building are in jail right now. So we'll be looking at the whole thing, but I'll be making major pardons. Yes, please. Please.
On Jack Smith's report.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. It's good to see you again. 2 questions about Syria and the ongoing war in Gaza. About Syria, the Pentagon disclosed last month the U.S. has some 2,000 troops in Syria. That's almost double the number initially we were told of 900. Will you keep that troop capacity the same upon taking?
Well, I won't tell you that because that's part of a military strategy, but I will say it was Turkey. Turkey's been after that country in different names and different forms and shapes for 2,000 years. Those people that went in are from Turkey. And President Erdogan is a friend of mine. He's a guy I like, respect. I think he respects me also. He's the one that didn't go after certain people after I requested that he not. You know who I'm talking about, the Kurds. I don't know how long that's going to, because they're natural enemies. They hate each other. But he didn't do that yet. And he didn't do it in the past also. He started and I said, please don't do that, and he didn't do it. So, but if you look at what happened with Syria, Russia was weakened, Iran was weakened, and he's a very smart guy. And he sent his people in there through different forms and different names, and they went in and they took over, and that's the way it is.
Do you have concerns about HTS taking control of
By the way, I
Syria?
have the envoy here. Is that in the back? Standing with my son, Eric is Steve Woodcoff, who's just got back from the Middle East, and he's done a fantastic job. He's a great deal maker. I said, what we need there is a deal maker, because nobody makes a deal. We have people that understand where the rivers are and where the meets and bounds are, but they can't talk. They can't make deals. Steve's done a great job. I just want to thank you, Steve. You've been working endlessly for months, and he's working specifically on the hostages, trying to get them back. Steve, come up for a second. Maybe you might want to say a couple of words. I didn't know Steve.
Conquer Kyiv in a matter of days. The truth is, since that war began, I'm the only one that stood in the center of Kyiv, not him. Putin never has. Think about it.
For almost 4 full years, we've heard this president talk a lot about strengthening NATO, and today he claimed that America about it.
His answer is, I'm not going to do anything because I don't want to provoke him. Second question, what if he does go into Ukraine? What will you do then? It depends on how much territory he takes. Putin was testing.
Oh God, this Palestinian man cries out from the morgue. 50 miles away, wailing voices echo at the funeral of a slain Israeli soldier. He was killed in an IED blast planted by Hamas.
I can tell you from my conversation with both Xi and Putin, nothing our adversaries and competitors, like Russia and China, would have liked more than seeing us to continue to be tied down in Afghanistan for another decade. For all those reasons, ending the war was the right thing to do.
President Biden claimed concerns about China's economy outgrowing the American economy will never be a concern again. But just before he went out there, his national security advisor said that a new China threat is emerging.
If it's China, not the United States, determining the future of AI on the planet, I think the stakes of that are just profound.
Palestinian man cries out from the morgue. 50 miles away, wailing voices echo at the funeral of a slain Israeli soldier.
Still struggling with mussy devices for live streaming? Introducing
words from Abdi Alaudinov, the commander of the Chechen Akhmat Special Forces, set the tone. Trump is no friend of ours. These blunt words from Abdi Alaudinov, the commander of the Chechen Akhmat Special Forces, set the tone for his fiery interview with News.ru, a Russian news outlet. This man, he will take care of his state, he remarked. Alaudinov speculated that Trump's overarching goal, particularly due to unwavering support for Israel, and the specter of a potential hot phase of conflict with particularly due to unwavering support for Israel, and the specter of a potential hot phase of conflict with Russia looming, Trump's administration, he argued, would face an unsustainable juggling.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, everybody. Guy, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And for all the support, my video, all the support my channel, all the support me. Thank you so much, guy. And I will see you in another video next time, guy. Don't forget to share and like and subscribe to me. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, guys. Thank you, guys. May God bless you all. Thank you so much, everybody. Merci beaucoup tout le monde et qui peut attendre vidéo, qui peut regarder vidéo, qui peut regarder là. Pas oublier sous faire votre vidéo, bah nous petit thumbs up pour partager li, bah nous un petit like et abonner avec channel là. L'on abonner avec moi qui est un petit commentaire et puis moi même m'a tourner abonner avec vous. Encore qui bon Dieu béni monde là, qui bon Dieu béni tout le monde là parce que le monde là bouleversé, bagaille compliqué et bagaille difficile. Et après le 20 janvier 2025 là, après président et élect Donald Trump fin prêter serment, nous m'a dit prudence à tout le monde qui vit dans le pays. Si vous n'avez pas de papier dans le monde, ou si vous êtes illégal dans le pays, please be careful. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. May God bless you all. Thank you so much. Ciao, ciao. See you in my next video. Thank you.